What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 53 of the Playconomics podcast, breaking down the business behind the world of video games, providing you with that sweet financial context for industry trends. I'm one of your hosts, Bobby Kawecki. Joined with me today is the Apex grinding, Jersey living, Wawa eating, backwards hat wearing, liquid from a pink cup sipping, Matt Mascari.
You better believe it, Playconomics. And it is a marvelous video game day because we got you with some news. And then on Thursday, we are hitting you with potentially the most heated
divisive episode ever.
Playconomics Plus, because me and Bobby are drastically different. It's going to be ridiculous. If you are not subscribed, if you do not follow our channels, I highly suggest you do because Thursday's episode is about to be a banger. However, what's our first mini topic, Bobby?
Mini topic, could argue main topic here.
Yeah, I was gonna say you put this in the mini topics, and I'm like, it's just because you wanted to start the show.
Yeah, it's the most recent news.
Yeah.
But it's not like substantive to the point where I'm going to spend a whole lot of time on it. This is coming to Polygon today as we're recording this on July 27th. Grand Theft Auto 6 information dropped, right? And this is coming from Polygon. There's a lot of rah-rah workplace nonsense in there as well, but I'm just going to skip through that. Coming to us from Austin Goslin, reading from the article. Now, new details on Grand Theft Auto 6 have seemingly been revealed by Bloomberg in a new report on developer Rockstar Games. The report is about the changing culture at the company and how it may impact development of the studio's upcoming project, which happens to be the next Grand Theft Auto game. Tellingly, one of the game's main protagonists will be reportedly a woman. First for the series, according to Bloomberg, she will be a Latina who will star alongside someone else in a story influenced by Bonnie and Clyde. Grand Theft Auto 6 will be set in a fictionalized version of Miami and the surrounding areas, while original plans for a game world that covered many locations throughout North and South America were scrapped. The world remains extremely large and includes more indoor locations than any previous GTA game. This change of location was specifically made to help keep the game's ambition and scope a little more realistic, hopefully avoiding kinds of development crunch that Rockstar titles used to be known for. Don't get me started on crunch. However, the changes have come with the predictable side effect of slowing down the game's development. While it's been in development since 2014, developers who talked to the Bloomberg say that Grand Theft Auto 6 is likely at least 2 years away and that the progress is extremely slow, though it's worth noting the pandemic lightly contributed to these delays. Okay. Couple things here.
Hit me.
Matt, I would crawl over broken glass to work 80 hours a week on Grand Theft Auto. You know why? You know why? And I'm gonna say I don't understand. I'm gonna try to keep this business focused. You're working for Grand Theft. You're like, do you understand this? Like, this as a creative field, this is like one of those we'll pay you an exposure kind of things. Like if Under Armour or PlayStation called me and they said like, hey, will you do some video marketing for us, but we'll pay you an exposure. That's great. Mm-hmm. If you work at Rockstar on Grand Theft Auto, you are both being paid in exposure and money. This has been noted many, many times that you work your ass off on Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2. And then the Rockstar staff, you know what they do after the game releases? They extend their driveway because the dump truck with their bonus comes in and unloads all the money.
Yeah.
What is this culture of like, oh, the crunch is bad? What did you say? Like, what are you signing up for? Like, either you're making the best game of all time, either you're Rockstar and you work your balls off near the end of development, right? To make sure it is as polished and clean of a product as possible, or you're a nobody. And that's true for sports. That's true for I don't understand why this hard work is being demonized. It's not like they're like, oh, we're working 80 hours a week and we're underpaid. You know why? that it doesn't say this anywhere in the article? Because it's not true. All these people are living ridiculously well on wherever they are on the scale. From the QA tester who's making good money and gets to say, I was a QA tester on Grand Theft Auto, to, oh shit, I'm a gameplay designer, or I am a lighting engineer, mocap. Like, I don't understand why this is so whiny about, like, oh, we don't want to work.
So I took this completely different. You took this from they're not working hard enough and they're whining about it.
No. Let me be clear, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I want to make sure that my point is being presented in the proper way. I'm not saying that they're not working hard enough. I'm saying you can't have both. Either you are the leader of the pack because you are willing to work the hours and put in the effort that no one else is willing to put in, and that is fine, and that is awesome because you're the mountain that everyone else is trying to climb, or your headline is the game's 2 years away.
Yeah, but at a certain point, there is no amount of crunch and there's no amount of putting in extra hours that is going to speed them up 2 years. And I just think it's fundamentally wrong to encourage people to look at this and say, we should demand more. This game should have been out by now. If the game was ready, it would be out. It literally is going to print money.
Correct.
The worst thing for this game and for GTA as a whole, after the success of GTA 5 and GTA 5 Online, is to put out a bad game or a rushed game. And they are historically known for not doing that.
Correct.
So they could take all the time in the world that they need to make this game, because I have 100% faith and confidence in Rockstar's ability to put out an absolute heater of a game and then give me some DLC a year later with all the other locations that were missed.
Couple things. Number one, I don't think we're going to get DLC anymore. It does say that I think there is going to be no GTA Online. I think it's going to just be one experience where locations are added and new story missions are done within it. I think this is going to be more of an MMO than a GTA game, number one.
Okay.
Number two, I'm not stamping my feet and saying I want the game now, because you're right. Just like Naughty Dog and just like all these other, S-tier developers, and you could put Bungie and back when they were working on Halo and shit like that, like those are S-tier developers. I'm good with getting it when it comes out. What I'm not okay with is that the headline of this article should be like, holy shit, Vice City, can't wait, so cool, multiple locations, multiple characters, which I'm like, whatever on. I thought the weakest part of Grand Theft Auto 5 was the fact that it was multiple characters. I think Rockstar was best when they had like a more singular POV, but cool. Whatever. Yeah. You're giving me less people to worry about, 2 characters versus 3. I like that. Fine.
Yes, but I think that the GTA 6 will star a female playable character, according to a report, is a very tactful address of a huge concern that I believe Rockstar has, is that in modern day woke culture, this game won't hit like it used to. And if they make a female character, they are making a female person of color character. They literally can't mess that up.
But you understand how viciously disingenuous that is, because
yes,
either you have a reason, and again, it's set in Miami. Okay, I'm with you so far. Either there's a reason for this person's background or whatever, but like, it's a little red meat to the mobs kind of thing, where it's like, oh yeah, look what we did. Look how like no. Because that was never Rockstar. They literally made a game called Bully. Do you understand that there would be no
shot
way that they could make a game? Although I would love to see Bully more than anything else, especially with everything now. Oh my God. Oh, that would be the best thing ever. That would be hysterical.
No, so I think you're misconstruing my point. I'm not saying that they're doing this in a virtue signaling way. I think Rockstar's design is to make this person and say, we can, like, it was never about like perpetuating these events and stereotypes in the game. We can make a banger game in perpetuity. And
I don't
this is almost like an FU to the people that are like, GTA is perpetuating these stereotypes and GTA is bad for culture. And this is
I think this is one of those. I think this is more of a liability than a win for them. For it, and again, on paper, this makes sense. Hell yeah, Grand Theft Auto, Narcos. You have a Latin character, the Bonnie and Clyde thing, Vice City. Like you're checking a lot of boxes for me, especially if it's set in the 80s. Fuck yeah, day one, sign me up. But that does kind of open up Rockstar to a whole new slate of critics, because this is never going to be good enough. The headline is not going to be Rockstar is now the pinnacle of inclusivity and diversity and equity. The headline is going to be they didn't do enough, or this wasn't portrayed correctly, or right? Fine. Whereas if you just had one character, standard middle-aged, gray NPC, what were the things going to be? Oh, Grand Theft Auto promotes violence, or Grand Theft Auto this. It's like, yeah, it's Grand Theft Auto. What do you expect? You know what I mean? I think this does open up Rockstar to a little bit more criticism that maybe they haven't had to deal with yet, because there is no appeasing the mob when it comes to stuff like this. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I really don't think they're doing this to appease the mob. I think they're doing this because they're choosing to, and they wanted to go this route. And the Polygon author for this, Austin Gosling, took this piece and made this piece about it. And they are not responsible for what the media puts in a headline. The headline should have been GTA 6 is 2 years away.
Correct.
This should not be the headline. I'm saying this headline and them doing a female character has nothing to do with appeasing the mob. They chose to do it because I think they wanted to go with the Bonnie and Clyde theme in Miami. And the only way to do Bonnie and Clyde is with a dude and a chick. Bonnie, Clyde.
Listen, all I'll say is they've kind of sort of done the Scarface story. GTA 4 has the best story of any GTA. You're an immigrant, you come to America, you build a crime empire, super cool, right? But there was a mission in GTA 4 that was exactly like the movie Heat, where they robbed the bank and then they're running away. And then they're like, oh, that's what you guys like? What if we give you an entire game that was just the bank robbery missions? And it's like, okay, cool, big world, LA, GTA Online, but like, I don't know. Like, we've seen the Bonnie and Clyde, we've seen the cops, like, obviously it's going to be cops and robbers, but I would have really liked, shit, man, could you imagine if this was like, forget Bonnie and Clyde, but this was like a Narcos thing?
I think we're going to get it. I think down the road we are going to get a new piece of content from it, whether it's DLC or whether it's not. It's just the game progresses, and because the game progressed, they're just releasing new content. And we're seeing that MMO structure where in a year there's going to be a GTA expansion. And even though it's not downloadable content, it's a new piece, and you're going to get the South America piece. And I think you are going to get the Narcos thing. And this whole initial storyline is going to lead up to it being international.
Which, sign me the hell up. Because Yakuza Grand Theft Auto, I would love to play.
Agreed.
Would love, like...
Agreed.
I think... you maybe walk away a little bit about what makes Grand Theft Auto great, because Grand Theft Auto is a satire that's also a shooter, right? Like Vice City is just 80s movies cut and clipped together. Like your best friend in Vice City is like clearly Sean Penn from Carlito's Way, and the end fight is the end of Scarface. Like it's a 1-to-1 thing. Doesn't matter. Also, rip in peace, Ray Liotta. We're definitely not getting a Tommy Vercetti cameo unless he already recorded it. Oh, what a dream that would have been.
Yep.
The
Rest
pin
in
I'll
peace.
put in it is this.
Hit me.
I am stoked that this is Vice City. Take as much time as you need, Rockstar. The 2-character thing, fine. That's the way of the world. The MMO thing, which is, it sounds like an MMO. What this reads to me like Destiny, where you got your Vice City main story, and then every so often, here's your Liberty City expansion. Cool. The going in buildings is very cool, because I feel like that is a final frontier of games that is going to be one of those, like, you didn't think you needed it, but once we have it, we're never going to be able to undo it. And I think I think they learned a lot from Red Dead 2 in terms of the world remembering you. Like, your hat falls off, you go back a couple days later, your hat's in the same place, people remember you, their stores cannot wait.
Yep.
But I'm sorry, last thing.
Go ahead.
You can't be the best without putting in the work that others are not willing to do.
I think they are. They're literally taking 8 years. No, 2014, 10 years to develop a game. You can't tell me they didn't put the work in.
I'm not saying they didn't. What I'm saying is, to everybody covering this game, because I'm already hearing it on other shows today, the crunch, the crunch, the crunch, the crunch. You're getting a Vice City game and you're getting a new Grand Theft Auto. That's the lead headline here, people.
But I don't understand how crunch is a topic when we're talking this time span.
Because people need a boogeyman.
It's 10 years. How long do you want to wait for GTA 6? 2030?
No, we should have gotten it by now, I think, but I digress.
Regardless. Next topic, one near and dear to my heart, a game that I have not played yet, but I will. You better believe I will be playing it, because it is my dark horse pick for Game of the Year. Not actually, but
You
in this
should be
article,
put in prison.
everybody knows what my Game of the Year pick is. It's Elden Ring. However, GameRant.com brings us this article by Dalton Cooper. Stray has higher user score ratings than Elden Ring. And honestly, Dalton, this was a very well-written article about how funny it is that Stray has such a good score on any website, just because the simplicity of the game, and I completely understand it, but I use this 100% of as a springboard to talk about Stray and how hilariously great this game is. I have seen content of it. I have seen people modding their own pets into Stray. It is hilarious, and I love it, and I encourage anyone who has not seen, heard, or interacted with this game in some way to go and just watch a Twitch streamer or watch a YouTube video of the gameplay, because it's absolutely mind-blowing about how much this game was able to accomplish following around a cat.
Well, not to be Mr. Cynical, but I'll maybe not burst the bubble, but contextualize it. I played Stray. It's free on PS Premium, right? Or it's included. I can't say free because I'm paying for PS Premium. It's included.
You could say free.
This smells like Fall Guys and that other one where they're the other, little chibi like bean characters. You're like on a spaceship or whatever.
Oh, Among Us.
This stinks like that, where it's like this huge zeitgeist of there was a game here. Hold on. There was a game here where it was I call it like the Last Guardian syndrome. If you've ever heard or seen of the Last Guardian, it's like the same team that did Eco and Shadow of the Colossus.
Yep.
And it's got those vibes where it's like, you're playing as somebody and there's like a fish out of water thing, and it's a little non-traditional. Fine. I think the memery of it is gonna. I don't think in 2 weeks anybody's gonna be talking about Stray.
So the only reason why I don't think it's similar to Fall Guys or Among Us, and we will get to Fall Guys later. The only reason I don't think it's on the same meme level as them is because it also has indie darling syndrome. Because it screams indie game aesthetic, and it screams like, as much as I don't want to admit, and I made the analogy on the show last time, of the PlayStation is high-end movies for people that love movies.
Correct. Stray
fits that. This is Drive with Ryan Gosling in a video game.
It's funny. That's actually
like, I didn't like Drive. I thought it was potentially one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
You didn't like the Enya song? You didn't like the constant sweeping shots of the LA palm trees? You didn't like his neat scorpion jacket? Come on, man.
But I understood how, if you very much so appreciate cinema and film, then yeah, you liked Drive. I get it. And a lot of people that I know that are very into movies and the cinema like Drive. So whatever. This is like that.
Drive is an ass sandwich. And then he made another movie like right after that, and I forget what it's called, but he's like in Thailand or something to that effect, but it's the same like neon Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, I get it. But Stray has that vibe, and that's why I think it has staying power. Because it has that indie darling pinnacle of like high theatric. You don't get it because you don't play PlayStation, so you wouldn't get a good game if you saw one vibe.
Well, listen, so hold on. I can sit here and be guilty of that because that game exists, and that game is called Journey. Okay. Journey is
about the band.
Yeah. They get together and they sing separate ways. No, Journey is what you're describing. This is not that. Journey is that so high budget and so obscure and so beautiful and so devastating emotionally, but you're not sure why. You've never played Journey, have you?
No.
Journey is one of those things that is, when you think about it in the context of when it came out, 2011? Sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it in 2011 terms and you play Journey, it's
2012.
Okay, so it wasn't too far off.
Yep.
It's holy shit, how did they do this with
That's
2012
fair.
technology? It is Journey, I would argue, is one of the most beautiful games. Okay, here's the TikTok clip. Come.
Oh boy.
Journey is so beautiful that it makes Breath of the Wild look like a 4-year-old watercolor painting. Journey is breathtakingly haunting on a level that I would say rivals even something like The Last of Us. If you haven't played Journey, play Journey.
And then play Stray, because it's unequivocally a better game. However,
hold on. I know this is Journey on Game Pass, because if it is, no, not Journey to the Savage Planet. It might be a PlayStation exclusive.
It was made by Sony.
So yeah,
it would be very. I would 100% believe that it.
Well, it's on Steam. It's on Steam. I'm not going to make you pay the $15 on Steam, but what I would recommend is just watch a playthrough, or at least just watch a playthrough the first 12 minutes, and you'll immediately understand what I'm talking about.
I could agree to watch as much Journey content as I have Stray content, for scientific purposes only, obviously.
Correct.
But everyone, please go look up Stray content. It's hilarious. I love it. And yes, the memery is there. The memery is there. However, it has staying power. And I think it's going to be a dark horse contender for something at the Game Awards. I don't know what it is, But I just think it is, in today's culture, Stray was perfectly launched.
For all the cat people.
And currently nothing is competing with it. What's
Yeah,
out right now?
it is a dry time.
Like, it was a beautiful time to be like, bro, I'm going to make you play 25 hours of walking around as a cat. Oh, by the way, that ledge railing, you can walk on that. Didn't think you could, but you can. And you're just like, yo, this is unbelievable. But at the same time, if you just scale everything up, it's just you as a human character walking on the ledge of a building. It's the same principle. However,
you hit the nail on the head with Stray. Is that there's nothing to play right now. It's easy to have the best vision in a room full of blind people. Okay,
agreed.
Okay,
but we'll move on to another Matt related topic because this one hits near and dear to my heart.
Send me to the Shadow Realm now.
And again, this article comes from Game Rant, and Game Rant, you are doing phenomenal with appealing directly to me with your news. Funko announces its first AAA video game. During San Diego Comic-Con, Funko announces that it's entered into a partnership to co-produce a AAA action platforming title, which the article brought to you by Rory Young. Again, this is a jump off for me to personally get invested in this because one of two things is going to happen. They are going to take the amiibo route where you were able to somehow get your Funko Pops into the game and play as an existing Funko Pop that you have, or they go the NFT route where you now scan your Funko Pop in and you own a digital version of that Funko Pop and you get to play as that and you can sell that.
I mean,
or you just play as a Funko character that you get to customize, and we, best case scenario, get like the Stick of Truth, but Funko Pop, which would be...
This is what you get, Sony. This is what you get for not making more Little Big Planet games. Because you know what, Matt? This is a Little Big Planet game. This is a Little Big Planet game. And in Little Big Planet, 1, 2, and 3, the hype was, now Sackboy dresses like Drake, and he dresses like Kratos, and he dresses like Aloy, and and he's a platformer, and he does fun things, and he has his fun friends. The reason that they're making this Funko game is because Sony abandoned the Little Big Planet space. Microsoft's not doing it. Well, any platformer that Nintendo puts out is either Donkey Kong or Mario, so shit. If the only other person playing the space right now of like IP licensed fun games for kids is Fortnite, I feel like that's a bigger pie than people give it credit for. And Funko's trying to take a big bite out of it.
I think so. And they're working with, just for clarity, because I know people are going to ask in the comments, they're working with 1010 Studio or 1010 Games.
Not Tencent.
No, 1010. Yeah, it's 10:10.
The AM New York radio station. Do they have 1010 wins in New Jersey?
No, but 1010 Games, and they're known for they're best known for their work with the Lego franchise. So, this is just going to be a complete and utter bust, or something that just continuously prints money through perpetuity.
Agreed. Heavy sigh.
As we calm down from these heated 3 mini topics, Bobby, what have you been playing? Give me a taste.
I played that god awful cat game.
Stray. Loved it. You loved it. It's your game of the year. I heard you were saying it's your dark horse choice.
25 minutes of it, and I just realized life is short. This is not for me.
That's fair. I get that.
And sadly, that's about it. I've been dabbling. I've just been so busy that I wish I had time to play more. But there's nothing out currently that I'm like, okay, I need to be devoting time to this. So I'm just taking care of other shit. I tried Stray. I'll have some time this weekend, so maybe I'll hop on and see what else is with the. No, under no circumstances will that will just not happened. But we'll see what happens next week. I know, I keep saying, I'll restart Last of Us. We'll see.
We
But I
will
see you've
see.
been playing Fall Guys here, Matt, which is interesting. But before we get to that, roll the tape of a couple weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, that started the quarter.
In all fairness,
No,
I'm not even going to let you do it. I will introduce my own failure. I am not diamond in Apex right now. In all fairness, I have 7 days. No, I have 12 days left. So
but
I
Matt,
can still make it.
are you
However,
willing? Are you willing to crunch though? Are you
0.
willing to? No, see,
0.
that's
And the reason I'm not is because the people that I play with online have not been playing as much. And because of that, I have been forced to grind with randos. And while my rating is going up and I am slowly making it to diamond, I'm about halfway through gold. I would rather a stray cat come into my house and eat me alive than have to grind Apex with people that don't have a microphone and are random. I can't do it. And
how do you feel about Apex's newest character being yet another scout? Don't you love that, Matt? Don't you love scout characters?
No, I'm really upset because her tactical which is her like it's her passive, which is the smallest ability you can get for a character, is the one that they were rumored to be giving to Pathfinder, who currently does not have a passive. Every character has a passive, a tactical, and an ultimate. Pathfinder does not have a passive because they took it away and gave it to every recon character. So she also has Pathfinder's actual passive. And on top of it, can zoom in to 3x range and mark people and tell you what legend it is. So I don't even want to talk about Vantage. Great name. However, because I got so frustrated with the rando garbage people I was playing with in Apex, and I'm sure you're all fine people, you're bad at Apex Legends.
They're not good people.
It's not me.
They're bad people. You can say
However, because of that, I needed something that wasn't frustrating and was a very soothing, easy to play game.
Daddy needed something to take the edge off.
First, I took the edge off with reattempting to play Pokemon Shining Pearl. And I kid you not, after one night of playing Pokemon Shining Pearl,
you almost committed samurai suicide.
I texted Sarah and said, I think I'm done with video games for the rest of my life. And she called me immediately and was like, are you okay? Do we need to talk about something? And then I texted my younger brother because we were on our way to Wawa. And I'm like, bro, what are we playing tonight? I can't play Apex. And me, Jake, and my older brother, Mike, played Fall Guys.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Minecraft.
No. Which Fall Guys is what is as close to Fortnite as I am ever going to get into a video game. And I love Fall Guys. It's hilarious to play. It's zero stress. And if you play with people, even if you die and lose an event, you then get to watch this hilarious time of your friends playing this game. Only you're in party chat with them instead of interacting with a Twitch streamer. It will 100%, now that it is free to play, sell money.
I played it. It's fine.
It's very fun if you are like, if I was playing it because I had booked myself video game time to play Apex and could not physically do it. This is the ultimate sit and chat and like just relax with the boys while passively playing a video game. This is as passive you can get in a video game as possible.
Clearly someone's never played Solitaire.
That I would say Solitaire is much more mentally involved than Fall
Guys.
Yes.
Fair enough. But you know what else is mentally involved, Matt?
Me putting together the show notes?
What's mentally involved is the Meta Quest. Matt, you've heard of price drops for, consoles that have been out for a while. You ever hear of a price increase?
I haven't.
But you have now. Coming to us from Brendan Sinclair over at gamesindustry.biz, managing editor, reading from the article, Meta is taking the unusual step of raising prices on its latest VR headset. The company today announced that it will be that beginning next month, MetaQuest 2 will carry a suggested retail price of $400 for the 128 gigabyte model and $500 for the 256 gigabyte version. Both represent a $100 markup over the current price. Those who buy the headset at the higher price point before the end of the year will be able to download a copy of Beat Saber at no extra cost.
Is Beat Saber $100?
No, it's not.
Then why are you telling me this? Just give it to them and don't say anything.
The company explained the hike by saying it has invested billions of dollars into VR to date and is making a change that will help us continue to invest for long term and keep driving the VR industry forward with best-in-class hardware, action-packed game, and cutting-edge research. Matt, do you understand what is going to happen if Sony comes out and just says $300?
I was gonna say, if I was Sony, it doesn't even need to be. It doesn't even need to be 300. Just put 399. 399 is so different than 500. It's so different.
Here's the thing, because and why I do think I feel it in my bones. PSVR 2 is going to be $300 because there's no onboard memory that you have to worry about. See, the thing with the Meta Quest and arguably an asset is you can take it anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that also comes with the whole onboard memory thing.
Yes.
Listen, you tell me I can play Horizon Call of the Mountain for $300 on my PSVR 2 with only one cable that I have to plug into the TV, no camera, no nothing. Oh boy. But pie in the sky bullshit aside, I think this is a supply chain thing. I don't think this has anything to do with investing in the future of VR. I think shit's getting more expensive, number one. Number two, shit's getting harder to find. So jack up that old price.
And like, it's not for video game consoles. Yes, it is uncommon to see a price hike. In almost any other industry, as inflation goes, prices get higher. That's how things work. It's not inflation doesn't cause
halfway through a product cycle.
No.
I'd understand if Quest 3 launched at a higher price point. But could you imagine Apple announces the new iPhone, September comes out usually, right? And then
in April it's $100.
It's $100 more?
Yes. I 100% could see Apple doing that.
I listen, this is a very scary canary in the coal mine for the gaming industry, because for all these people, and myself included, PSVR 2 is $300. That's all good and well if Sony could sustain that much of a loss leader in their product portfolio, which I don't know if they can.
See, I also think that this puts a dangerous precedent for future games. Kind of what happened with Call of Duty when it started releasing games at $60. When, I don't know if our viewers remember, when video games were very, very starkly $50 even. And Call of Duty put that price up to $60. And now the game industry just generally accepted it. It is a $60 game.
Well, now it's a $70 game.
Yeah, because you got to get $70
game.
Yeah. This is setting the precedent that if people buy this, Sony next year can be like, listen, supply chain was bad. We want to continue to provide you with the best product. And in order to do that, the PlayStation 5 is now $600.
People would fucking lose their mind.
Yes,
but the world would implode.
But is that not still better than paying a scalper $750?
No.
It's $150 better. The principle of it is not, because a scalper, like we say on the show all the time, nobody likes scalpers. However, I just think this is either one of two reasons. It's either exactly what you were saying with supply chain, which I think it is. I think this is a supply chain issue, and I'm surprised we're not seeing more things like this. We are seeing it more in the PC industry because they sell their components individually, and therefore they're allowed to do that markup at a better rate than something like an Xbox or a PlayStation could. However, I also kind of see them cutting bait with this and saying, listen, we're operating this at a loss. The people that are going to buy it are going to buy it. Let's increase it by 100%. Now our profit margin's 15 to 20% higher because we're selling them for more.
It's
and they're going to reinvest it.
Wicket, as some would say. Before we move on to our next topic, to put a pin in this whole Oculus VR Quest 2 thing in the price hike, I'll say this. Does it set a precedent? Yes. But I think it also creates a vacuum for a very hungry, very bold competitor, a Sony, and fuck, even a Microsoft, or whoever, to come in and say, we're going to be the affordable VR. We're going to be the iPhone of the VR. Not the iPhone Pro, none of that. We're going to be the iPhone of VR. Everybody's got it. It works phenomenally. It's a fantastic experience, and it's $300.
Yep.
If I'm Sony right now, my foot's on the gas of PSVR 2.
The only thing that I think will hold PSVR 2 back from being that is the reliance on you to have a PS5.
Correct. I still think that PSVR 2, all right, let me put it this way. I'm going to buy a PSVR 2 regardless because I like the controller. I like the inside-out tracking, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Resident Evil 4 in VR. Delicious. And I made that noise just for the accountant because I know that he's sitting in his car somewhere.
The CPA. You address him as his proper title.
He knows what he is to me. All gas, no brakes, PSVR 2. Sony, this is your shot to really, truly crack the industry in a way that they haven't been able to do since, I would say, the PS2. Or maybe even PS4.
Real quick, off the top of your head, before we move on, I got one more point to make. Mm-hmm. How many units do you think MetaQuest 2 has sold? If you had to ballpark it.
28 million.
Grossly lower than that. But it's about 15, which is more than I thought it was going to be.
Which I would put PSVR then at 10 million? Because PSVR regular has to be the next best-selling VR headset. Has to be.
Sold. Well, what I was going to 5 million. And how many PS4s were sold total? Well, it was like 150 something.
Less 1
or no 1
10
that was
150 is PS2. Nobody's touching PS2.
Yeah. One, if we're putting it at one like fifth, let's do 110 just for conversation's sake. That's about 5% of PlayStation owners have a PSVR. Currently, PlayStation 5 sits at about 20 million units sold. So if they keep that similar track of 5%, they're not going to touch MetaQuest 2.
They're gonna. You'll see.
I to be honest, I hope I'm wrong because I don't like the idea of MetaQuest 2.
Me neither.
I like it being associated with a video game console. Like I would much prefer Xbox, Sony, or Nintendo have this as their gimmick or as their product than a non-video game company have it as their product. But
I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all, man. You know what else I don't hate?
The Funko Pop video game.
Oh, I hate that. No, yeah. Capcom revenue declines 48% to $184 million for Q1 2022. This coming to us from Jeffrey Rousseau. Again, gamesindustry.biz. The quarter saw its digital content business also decrease 55% to $146 million as Monster Hunter Rise continues to sell. Capcom has released its financial results for Q1 22, covering 3-month period ending June 30th, reporting a year-over-year decrease in revenue and operating income. The firm reported net sales of 25.2 billion yen, a 48% decline during the same time frame previous year. And I'm just going to skip down in the article here because it makes perfect sense as to why the firm attributed to a sales drop to a tough comparison against last year's Q1 lineup, which saw the release of Resident Evil Village, but pointed out strong performances from Monster Hunter Rise. So just to be clear, this is going from a 15 to a 10. Not a 10 to a 5 in terms of sales. Does that make sense? Because what people are forgetting is that Capcom has been on this wild hot streak the last 5 years,
absolute
right?
Tear. Yeah.
Monster Hunter, Resident Evil. You had to take a break at some point. And then this year with Street Fighter 6 being not just a PlayStation exclusive and Resident Evil 4 remake, don't worry, people. Capcom's doing just fine.
Yes, I do think it is. They're better off than this. The headline makes it seem, because the headline makes it seem that someone's about to buy them at 52 cents on the dollar.
That's not happening.
No, it's not. However,
I would argue that Capcom is more valuable now than they've ever been, because all they need to do right now is release maybe another Devil May Cry, or God forbid you just cancel Exo Primal and give me a good Dino Crisis game.
You're on.
I still can't get over that shit.
But I don't know. I just think I really wanted to bring up the fact that even though they are having a down quarter comparative to their previous quarter, like year over year, it's very hard to repeat that.
Correct. Especially, look, they didn't have a Resident Evil release. So the last, 4 years, we had Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village, whatever the hell, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 2, gap year, Resident Evil 7. So what do you expect, people?
What goes up must eventually even out.
Yeah, correct. Even out. Not even come down. Just come to a place of stability. Capcom is doing just fine.
And we're seeing that with all of the like clickbait articles of the video games are in recession because of the COVID boom, and it was artificially inflated and now it's going to crash. It's not going to crash, but it's going to go back to what it should be. And the market will correct itself for the overabundance of spending in the video game industry to a down year because everyone has purchased the product. There is less demand and there's less additional need. And we're seeing the supply chain issues of what happens, and supply chain in terms of being able to put out their video game product. It caused delays, not so much now. Now, if you haven't adapted to a COVID workplace,
COVID
fault.
is no longer a production excuse at this point.
Yeah. I'll give you a year delay on anything that was in production in 2020 and 2021. If you're putting something into production now, you cannot say COVID delays. It's done now. Develop the game.
The inflation is Putin's fault. The inflation was there a year before Putin invaded Ukraine, people. But don't get me started. The wheels rolling.
We're not. I'm going to interrupt you now. But if we take the grandiose
75 basis point hike.
Oh my God. Stop it. If we take the grandiose spike.
Who would you rather get on the podcast?
Oh my God.
Hold on.
Do they replace you?
Yes.
Either.
Hold on. Who would you rather replace me on the podcast?
Okay.
Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell, hold on.
Okay.
Or Edward Furlong, who we discussed 2 weeks ago. John Connor from Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
John Connor.
Yeah.
Because at
I want
least I
Jerome.
could.
I want Jerome and Janet on the podcast.
I'm gonna be honest to you. I don't know who either of those two first people are.
Please stop, Matt. I'm cutting that
0.
out of the podcast because that was an ass clown statement.
Who are they? I'll bite.
One is the chairman of the Federal Reserve, and the other one is the Treasury Secretary.
Whatever.
So, the two people who are basically in charge.
Yeah, I stand by my choice.
Of modern economic policy.
I stand by my choice. I don't want either one of them on the podcast.
I'm sliding into Janet Yellen's DMs tonight.
Good, and she'll text you and say, "Why are we on the Facebooks?"
And I'll say, Janet, you ever heard of a little pod called Playconomics? Why don't you come on here and explain yourself to the gamers, Janet?
And do you know what we love talking about on the Playconomics podcast? This Game Rant article. A lot of Game Rant today by Andrew McPhillips. Epic Games Store definitely won't stop devs from selling NFTs. We all saw this coming when Microsoft and Mojang specifically, and for context, Minecraft, said, we are not putting NFTs in our game. We never will. And we don't want them. We don't believe in them.
Yeah, not only are we not putting them in our game, we're actively banning them from our game.
Yes. The obvious response to that is for other companies to say, oh, we'll put NFTs in our game, and then not actually do it. Just say that they're open to it. Because why say never? Epic Games is like, yeah, maybe we'll put them in where we can see a potential value add there. And if it makes sense for our company, sure. What I don't like is that they put in this article, we don't like to restrict our creators in how they would like to design their game. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Everyone does. That's how you run a business. Because you can't have your team of creators say, oh, I'm going to make a game about a stray cat that just walks around at night in and out of alleyways. Just kidding, you can. But my point remains. You can't just have game developers developing whatever game they want without getting any internal and higher up approval. And to think and put forward that that's how your company runs makes me concerned with the way your company runs. If I can just be a development team and be like, nope, we're putting this game together. We don't care if you don't approve the budget. We don't care if you don't like what the game is. We're going to make it anyway because we're developers and we have the freedom to do that. No, you don't. You work for Epic Games. And if Epic Games tells you no NFTs, I don't care how bad you want an NFT in there. It's not going in there.
Oh, you got heated there.
Yeah, I hate that. The people run the company. No, they don't. No company runs like that. The C-suite runs the company as they should. That's why they're the C-suite. And that's why the owners of Epic Games decide what games get developed. Do the developers have input? Sure, they have a creative team that they pay. And that if they don't like their ideas, they also shoot those down. But I digress. Matt, Bobby, your take on Epic not having NFTs or having NFTs.
So Epic not stopping devs from having NFTs is exactly how it should be. You should promote a free market, right? Mm-hmm. Epic has plenty of games on their store with loot boxes and other things that other people would deem predatory, what have you. It's a ballsy move, right? You always want to be the other guy because, hey, there are plenty of people who want, think about Doc's game. Yeah. What about people? Well, shit. I might not be able to get that on a Microsoft-based launcher now, but I can definitely get it on Epic's game. What if Doc's game takes off, right? Why are you pigeonholing based on public opinion of something right now, right? Now, I think the only practical use of NFTs is within video games. I like the laissez-faire version of this where they're just like, no, have them if you want them, don't have them if you don't. The market will dictate if your implementation of NFTs in your game
is good.
bode your product as worthy of purchase.
Yeah. Like a game isn't going to sell because it has NFTs in it, but a good game with properly implemented NFTs will capture the market that is asking for NFTs.
Correct.
And then everyone else will play it because it is a good game and you don't need to interact with them. I disagree just as much with it wasn't really Microsoft, it was specifically Mojang said no NFTs. So I think a Microsoft product could have NFTs in it.
Halo.
Yeah.
Isn't that what the Halo fans want? Isn't that what the Gears fans want? Don't you want a Marcus Phoenix bandana NFT?
No, but I do see from Bill Gates' content that he's not very high on NFTs, so I would be surprised if they developed one. But I don't think if they saw a good game in development that had NFTs, they would say no.
I agree. And hold on. Just because I want to be respectful and listen to you, I waited to hear your point. Tweet. Okay, so I have now officially tweeted at Janet Yellen to come on the podcast. It's live on the Twitter right now. Let's see if Janet answers.
Great. Okay. Well, our next topic. Oh, hold on. This article.
Yeah, it redirects you. Our final topic, and Matt, I'll let you shamefully read this one as I walk behind you like the lady with the bell in Game of Thrones.
Hold on. I need to open the link.
All right, so to those of you who don't know, I'll vamp here. I literally, from the Playconomics account, just tweeted at Janet Yellen.
You tweeted it from Playconomics?
Yes.
Why?
So that she knows we're legit.
Yeah.
Okay. Janet Yellen, we would love to have you on an episode of the podcast to discuss how the games industry will fare during the current economic forecast. You name the time and the place. Handshake emoji. Okay. Listen to me. Next week, live from Capitol Hill.
You can't even say it.
Could you imagine? I'm over here just being like, man, one day I'll interview Hideo Kojima, and then hard cut to me, Jerome Powell, you, and Janet Yellen.
All right. I low-key can't find this article anymore. Yahoo.com, do better with your links. However, the article said...
VentureBeat. I have it pulled up, so I can read it off if you want.
Yeah,
so coming to us from VentureBeat, Microsoft's gaming revenue declined 7% in June 30th quarter. Perhaps the writer is at the bottom, but reading from the article now, Microsoft revealed in its earnings report today that its gaming revenue declined 7% in its fourth fiscal quarter, ended June 30th compared to a year ago. Xbox content and service revenue declined 6%, driven by a lower engagement hours. Interesting. And monetizing third and first party content. It was particularly offset by growth in Xbox Game Pass subscriptions. I'm not gonna belabor this point or beat a dead horse here, but I think the through line of this episode is we're in a goddamn recession. It's affecting everybody. So everybody relax. Okay. We're going to be fine, especially if we get Janet Yellen on the podcast.
Only if we get Janet Yellen on the podcast. If we don't, the stock market's going to crash over and over again.
I'm gonna make. You remember, like when we were in high school, there was that kid who did that thing where he's like, "I'm gonna eat a picture every day of Jason Segel until he eats a picture of me." I'm gonna tweet at Janet Yellen every single day until she either blocks me or comes on the podcast.
She will block you within a week.
I don't think so.
Okay, and well, then we could be
the staffer running Janet Yellen's Twitter account is a Playconomics fan.
That's fair. And in all fairness, we will be the first video game podcast in history to get blocked by Janet Yellen. So there's also that. And I think that is content people would like to see.
That's our new letterhead. Like, you know how like coffee shops or like little restaurants will like put like reviews, local reviews. Playconomics now blocked by Janet Yellen.
We provide so much financial context for industry trends that Janet Yellen tried to silence us and is now blocking us.
I'm not trying to get Clinton over here.
Yeah. However, overall to what you were speaking on regarding the Microsoft downturn this corner, the average market between the S&P and the NASDAQ are down between 4.6% and 9.1%.
Yeah,
So,
open your eyes, people. Everybody's taking a bath.
yeah.
It's happening. It's happening.
But what I love is the next article that I scroll down to is Microsoft is powering the market currently.
But Matt, I don't know if you saw, we're not in a recession because a recession doesn't mean what you think it means, Matt. We've gone ahead and changed the definition for you. Did you hear about this?
No, what is the new definition of recession?
So the
Did
current
they just add a couple quarters so that it falls on the next political term?
Ostensibly,
Hilarious.
there was a press conference where Biden's press secretary literally came out and was like, judging by the new definition of recession, we're not in one. People are all fucking hacks.
But like, my thing is, if you won't admit it's a recession, you don't get to take like credit when we come out of it.
Correct. But they'll still find a way.
Yeah.
And they'll still find a way. And you know what, Matt? We'll find a way to keep powering through each and every week with or without Janet and Jerome. But you mark my words. Listen, I was aiming too small. I said I want to interview Jaffe and Kojima. No. I'm going right to Washington. Mr. Kawecki goes to Washington. Okay, I'm going to take my mic. I'm going to pick you up in Jersey because it's on the way. Pick up your mic too, because I only have the one here right now. We will need to then stop at Best Buy and get an additional 2 mics because I doubt Janet Yellen has a mint audio setup.
Well, me and you can share, and she can borrow mine.
I don't know if I like that because
you're right. You mouth breathe a lot. I don't want to share.
I don't want to.
Okay, we'll pick up 2 mics.
You know what? What am I supposed to do? Breathe through my fucking ears, Matt? If you like what you're listening and you want to hear more of it, leave us a good review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Comment down below if you do think Janet Yellen will come on the podcast, right? I'll let her bring any,
We will ask very guided, specific questions that we will ask any softball question she could ever possibly want.
Yeah. I'll send my goal is to get Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell to walk out of the interview because I'll be like, oh my God, guys, you get Janet Yellen here. We look at this lovely fruit plate here. Yeah. Great, awesome, amazing.
Meats, cheeses.
Thank you. Amazing. Oh my God, that's such an honor. Yeah, we're going to talk about video games. Oh, we're rolling. What is up with Nancy Pelosi's trading portfolio and how can I get on that life?
Okay. And with that being said, remember, as always, like, subscribe, follow, throw us some support, and happy gaming.